Hi there, I'm Ben Mankiewicz. Welcome back to TCM as we begin to wind down our salute to Gregory Peck. He has been our star of the month. We've had his movies every Friday night in May. Peck made his film debut in 1944. Right from the beginning, he built a reputation playing characters imbued with a strong moral center. He starred in movies across genres, from westerns to romantic comedies, thrillers, literary adaptations, social dramas, even biblical epics. And in nearly every case, Gregory Peck was the hero, a man with a conscience, with a quiet sense of dignity and the courage to stand up against evil. Given that, maybe a bit of a shock to see him in the movie we have next. From 1978, Peck co-stars with Laurence Olivier in The Boys from Brazil. Peck plays a man without a conscience, a man lacking even a basic sense of human decency. He's Joseph Mengele, sadly a real person, the sadistic Nazi doctor who performed unspeakable experiments on thousands of prisoners at Auschwitz during the Holocaust. Mengele was the embodiment of evil, often referred to as the angel of death. After the war, he fled to South America, where he eluded capture. The Boys from Brazil, based on a novel by Ira Levin, imagines the fictional post-war activities of Mengele, which involves another unhinged experiment. In the meantime, Mengele is being pursued at every turn by a Nazi hunter. That's Laurence Olivier. 2 years earlier, Olivier took his turn playing a sadistic Nazi dentist hiding in plain sight after the war in Marathon Man, co-starring Dustin Hoffman. The Boys from Brazil marked the first time Peck and Olivier worked together. By this point, they were established, gracefully aging veterans, two of the most celebrated actors in the world. Despite the tension between their characters on screen, the two thoroughly enjoyed working together. Olivier valued Peck's professionalism, and Peck described Olivier as gallant, funny, easy to be with, not at all intimidating to others. Here they are in 1978, also with James Mason and a 19-year-old Steve Guttenberg, from director Franklin Schaffner, The Boys from Brazil. Gregory Peck was in the fourth decade of his Hollywood career when he made The Boys from Brazil in 1978. But as you just saw, he was still getting interesting leading roles. 2 years earlier, he scored the biggest commercial hit of his career with The Omen, released in 1976, and he followed that with a role he'd been wanting to play for years, General Douglas MacArthur in the 1977 war movie MacArthur. The Boys from Brazil offered Peck a chance to play entirely against his usual type, and the film earned 3 Oscar nominations, including for Best Actor, although that nomination didn't go to Peck, it went to Laurence Olivier. By the way, the young Nazi hunter murdered early in the film was played by Steve Guttenberg, later of Diner and Police Academy fame. He was barely 19 when production began on The Boys from Brazil. In a really lovely Instagram post last month, Guttenberg described Peck and Laurence Olivier, he called them Greg and Larry, as incredibly kind co-stars to this young kid. He said Greg and Larry wouldn't let him eat alone. They were worried about him. Guttenberg said James Mason was terrific too, said Mason's wife made her husband sandwiches every day for lunch, and she always made one for Guttenberg too. Such a nice post from an actor with great memories of working with a couple of legends. Coming up, Gregory Peck returns in a Cold War drama directed by Stanley Kramer, co-starring Ava Gardner, Anthony Perkins, and Fred Astaire. On the Beach from 1959. It's next on TCM.
Next on TCM. On the Beach, then Marooned, and later Moby Dick. We've got a whale of a lineup of Peck films tonight.